More and more people every day turning to Twitch to unwind a little bit, relax, maybe learn a little bit of strategy for some of the games you're interested in. But what if your new Twitch habit landed you in the US military? Well, that is apparently a growing possibility. And Jordan Ewell, you've been at the forefront of documenting this new trend. What is going on with the US military and Twitch?
So, all the branches except for the Marines have launched esports initiatives and Twitch channels to, increase their presence there in a gaming-oriented context. And what I found was, partially through just some lighthearted trolling, but I noticed that they were using these channels to recruit. And the Army especially has one of the biggest initiatives on this front. They sponsor the Call of Duty League. Um,
Wow.
and within this recruiting context, they have like multiple different links and forms and automated messages in their chat, encouraging people to sign up for contests. And what these contests are ultimately recruiting forms disguised as contests. And there's nothing you can win. Or so I mean that it doesn't appear to be anything you can win because there's no mention of like odds or stakes or prizes or drawings or anything like that. It's just, big bold letters, register to win. You click it and it's a recruiting form. And while 1 second you might be watching them play Call of Duty, the next second you're filling out your information, giving it to a recruiter to be, pressured by a recruiter. And I think it's especially concerning because the minimum age to be on Twitch is 13. And the
Wow.
minimum age to be recruited is 16. And now we're heading into a moment where we talked about earlier in the show. Half the country is out of work, and a third of people can't afford their mortgage, and it's only going to get worse. We're going to see a spike in homelessness. We're going to see a spike in evictions. People are dying. People might lose their parents or grandparents. More and more people are losing their jobs. Recruiters prey on people in unstable situations because the military, to them, offers you a stable paycheck, steady income, a roof over your head. It offers you stability for the foreseeable future. And you're going to have people in vulnerable situations, desperate for help, the government not helping, and a predatory recruiter on Twitch hanging out with you in chat day after day after day, hammering you to join the military. And I think that something needs to be done. I think Twitch needs to better police its content on this front. There needs to be way more transparency about the recruiting efforts itself. And there should be safeguards to prevent 13-year-olds
Yeah.
from sitting in these rooms that really should be 18 and older. But ultimately, like, you should not have 13, 14, 15-year-old kids hanging out with a recruiter. The people on stream are effectively recruiters for the military, recruiters who are just good at video games.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And they're hyping up the military. They do not portray accurately the trauma and just grotesque nature of war. It's something that'll leave you with a lifetime of PTSD. The suicide rate for veterans is super high. They don't mention any of that. It's just this is so great. We're flexing on them. Like we're loving this game. You should join the military, steady income. You could be a hero. It's so deeply dangerous.
Well, and also, I mean, so we were talking about this yesterday. There are a couple things that you found that I think are so amazing. So one of them is, I think you might have tweeted about this, is that it's not just that they're encouraging recruitment, it's that they're encouraging recruitment and pretending that you can join to just join the esports team. Like, no, we're not going to send you to Afghanistan. You just get to like wear a uniform and play Call of Duty. What are your odds of that, Jordan?
So the inaugural Navy esports team is 10 people. And the current Navy enlistment is around 325,000 people.
Whew.
So, quick odds, not great.
No.
Not great. And typically, just the way the military works is to be a recruiter, I mean, you're going to need to go through basic training and stuff like that. You're going to need to be in there a few years before you then, after your initial, deployment or contract or whatever, you then transition to other types of positions. If you want to be a lifetime military member, usually you go into either a sergeant, like, you're doing like drill sergeant stuff, you're working at camps, you're doing recruiting. There's a bunch of different other jobs that you can do after you actually are like, in the Navy, like a midshipman or a seaman or something like that. you're not going to go in and immediately, you're not going to be like, hey, you're new? Yeah, let's go recruit for us. No, you got to go through the indoctrination first.
Yeah.
So you're not signing up to play Call of Duty. You're signing up and giving your life away. And in some cases, you're going to die.
Or kill.
In most cases, you could get killed, or you could end up with a lifetime of PTSD. There were very slim odds of you going in and just being a gamer.
Yeah, 100%. No, I have to assume that your odds are probably better in joining like Cloud9 or TSM or something like that, like the traditional road, you know? I think that that's better. Someone pointed out in the comments, Justin Vigil says, Twitch banned women who would show too much cleavage while streaming, but you're allowed to stream to get people into the US military. That is a weird set of priorities there. Like, you can't be visibly drunk while streaming, but you can stream to get people to join and possibly go off to Iraq and fight. Yeah, absolute madness. And on top of it, it's the dishonesty that you point out. Like, you know, you click on a thing to get an Xbox controller, which lots of streamers have stuff like that, but there's no controller. There's just the recruitment form. And yeah, I wonder, like, are the streams being promoted? Is there money involved? I don't know, but it definitely seems like there has to be transparency.
Yeah, there is promotion involved. I'm working on the finer details of how much money specifically, but all these all these efforts have huge promotions and sponsorships and agreements with different esports teams and organizations. The Navy, I believe, pays for prominent placement on Twitch's homepage. The Army, I think, does as well. The Army has been on the front page a lot, and recently was also featured in the Stream with Pride category. Last month, they were featuring pro LGBT QA plus streamers, and they put the Army's esports team in there. And I want people to think about how ludicrous that is. That the Army, with this long history of discrimination against that community, would be featured in that category. And you have to assume the only way it ended up there was because of some sponsorship or advertising deal.
Yeah, I mean, Trump literally banned transgender individuals from the military. That seems absolutely crazy. And of course, we should acknowledge that this is sort of the most recent version of a thing that the military has been doing for a long time. Like, you know, they do these deals with filmmakers to sort of glorify the military. And think about the how more efficient it's become. That now the military just like plays Call of Duty or whatever and streams it. Back in the past, they made America's Army. Like, they used to make video games to get people involved. Now they can save tons of money. They just stream other video games. Rocket League, why not, you know? It's like driving a Humvee, but with rockets on it.
And one thing about that is, okay, you might play that game an hour a day, and you're like, oh, okay, this game kind of sucks, whatever. You might go see American Sniper, which is, you know, not more more propaganda, and you leave thinking like, oh, all right, whatever, that's fine. Those are all one-off things that you can consume on your own time, and they're very individual and siloed. Here, you are spending hours on end, if you are a reoccurring viewer, hours on end in the same room with a recruiter over and over and over again. And like Hassan Piker will tell you, you'll see the same people over and over again, and they will start to build a relationship with the streamer. So if people are coming again and again, I've been monitoring some of these rooms for a piece I'm working on, to say they know the reoccurring chatters. Mm-hmm. Like I see it in my room. I'm sure you guys see it on TYTs. You see the same people every time, and that's how these communities get built. But in a recruiting context, do these people know they're being recruited? And I would argue no, because it's not transparent.
Exactly. Yeah, you should be upfront. Like, the people who watch our stream every day on YouTube or Twitch, they know that I'm trying to get them into my cult. Like, they get that. Okay, I'm upfront about it. The military should be equally upfront. But anyway, great work, Jordan. And, you know, we're obviously looking forward to the article when it's available. We're going to tweet it out and all of that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.